YouTube, how's it going? Frogs Angels is back with another updated mock draft. Yeah, another updated one. Post-national championship. I mean, who doesn't like a good updated mock draft? You know, everyone loves a good mock draft. So, had to update another one, even though we still got the divisional rounds yet to play this weekend. So the order will change a little bit as we get through it, but we'll have plenty updated after the season. Plenty of draft content after the season. We have plenty of playoff content right now during each week during these playoffs. So lots of good stuff. Top left, Frogs_Angels. That's our Twitter. There's a link in the description. Please check it out. We much appreciate it. Lots of good stuff there. Talking during live games, talking about the draft, all kinds of fun stuff. So check it out. Let's get in the first 8 picks. I'll break down each pick. Nick Bosa first. Back and forth between him and Quinn Williams first overall. I really like Quinn Williams. You know, we haven't seen Bosa play in a while because of injury, so that is a negative. But, you know, he's so good and so capable of being an elite pass rusher in the NFL that it doesn't really matter that much. But it's a debate. It's a debate. And you can even throw Josh Allen in there at the first overall. Or let's say a team trades up for a quarterback. I don't think a quarterback's worth first overall, but you never know. So I got Bosa. Kingsbury taking Bosa with the first overall pick. You know, maybe you would like somebody on the offensive side, but not at number one. Not at number one. Number 2 is Quinn Williams. Niners take another D lineman. Feels like every year almost, but he's too good to pass. He's so dominant. He can play interior D line. He can play outside. And I like him in interior better, inside better, because it is rare to see these D linemen that get consistent pressure. You know, we know we can stop a run at a high level. We know that. We love that. But it's rare to see these guys get to the quarterback from the interior, and interior pressure is a game changer because it's faster. It's faster to get to the quarterback, makes them get outside the pocket, and if you have good edge rushers, that's a win-win. So I like Quinn Williams a lot. You know, Aaron Donald can make that type of impact. Jets take Josh Allen. I'm pretty sure I had Josh Allen in the Jets for a while. They need an edge rusher that fits. Todd Bowles is gone, though. So does the defensive scheme change? I think you can make Josh Allen work in either scheme, but I prefer him at the outside linebacker position. Very talented. Seen him come off both sides, so he's an athletic freak, too. He's going to continue to get better. The guy's a top 5 pick. Jets would love to have him. I stuck with Clelin Ferrell, 4th overall. He's one of my favorite players in the draft. So dominant. You know, he's going to be a 4-3 D end. I think Mayock and Gruden will love this guy. Stops the run at elite level, gets after the quarterback at elite level. He's a dominant player. Big reason why Clemson was the number 1 team this year. So Clelin Ferrell, the Raiders, makes a lot of sense. Number 5, maybe a little bit of surprise to some people, but the Buccaneers taking Byron Murphy, corner, Washington. Yeah, they could use a corner. Maybe people would prefer Greedy Williams. He's very good, but I think as soon as these teams turn on the tape for Byron Murphy, they're going to fall in love with him because everything's right. You know, everything about his game is right. They're going to love his technique, is how smooth he is in and out of his back pedal, his breaks on the ball. Everything's right. I think for the reasons they like Denzel Ward, that teams like Denzel Ward that high, same reasons they'll like Byron Murphy that high as well. So I think he goes earlier than people think. He's very good. And he just has some tools that you just really can't coach. You can coach it maybe over time with the right coach, but it's tough. So I like Murphy a lot. Bucks need a corner. Number 6, I went with the Giants taking Dwayne Haskins, quarterback, Ohio State. I'm not in love with this quarterback class. I don't know if any of them really belong in the top 10. Haskins has a lot of potential. He's solid. He needs a clean pocket at times, though. And I don't know if he really fits that Shermer offense. He's not far off it, though, and I think he can learn it. So it may take some time for this to work, but I would still like to pick because he's the best quarterback, and he can learn, he can figure it out, and he can make the throws. But you got to help him out with that offensive line. They're helping him out with the weapons if he goes to the Giants with Barkley, Odell, all those guys, but they got to get the O-line right. 7, the Jags go Jonah Williams, offensive lineman, Alabama. Could go quarterback here. I think they would like to have Dwayne Haskins. I don't know if quarterback's worth 7th overall. Mainly for the Jags because I think they're still in win now mode. They were just in the AFC Championship 2 years ago. Just because 1 year they don't make the playoffs because of quarterback play or because of injuries on the offense. It doesn't mean they're not in win now mode anymore. So a rookie quarterback's not the answer. I think they would have to take Haskins if he was there. But I think they look to free agency, and I think they make sure their new guy is protected with Jonah Williams, a guy like that. So that's the reason for that. But if I had Haskins available, I probably would have put him in there for the Jags. 8 goes the Lions go Greedy Williams, corner, LSU. They can use a corner. because Slay's really their only legit guy. And he seemed to come out of games this year to injuries, but he's still their number one guy. They could be dominant with Greedy Williams and Darius Slay. Could use an offensive lineman. Could use another weapon. Could use a quarterback, honestly, but won't happen here at pick 8. Unless somehow Haskins is available. Maybe they can't pass on him, but I got Greedy Williams going 8. Moving on. Next 8. I got the Bills going Cody Ford, one of my favorite players in the draft. And usually one of my favorite players in the draft doesn't consist of an offensive lineman. You know, this guy stands out on tape. 2 years ago, played at an elite level at right guard. Last year, played an elite level at right tackle. Right tackle is more important than ever in the NFL. A lot of these elite pass rushers are coming from the right side of the offense, left side of the defense. So Cody Ford can be an instant plug and play and be really a game changer, offensive line game changer. I don't really see that a lot. So I like Cody Ford. Bills can go receiver as well, but making sure Josh Allen is protected is going to make the difference. You know, all these teams are seeing how important offensive line is in today's NFL. So you got to make sure he's protected. Broncos go with Drew Lock, quarterback, Missouri. I think Elway will like Lock. I think he has a little bit of Josh Allen in him, not quite the same. A little Baker, too, like a mixture of Baker and Josh Allen. You know, not as good as either of them as a prospect. But Lock's got the tools. You know, he's got all the tools. Scouts will like it. Potentially go first because he's got the strong arm. He can move. He's athletic. You know, he needs to be a little more consistent, though, a little more accurate. I liked him better last year than I did this year. And that's really not a good thing, but it's not far off, you know. So, 10th overall, Broncos get their quarterback, but maybe Keenum plays for another year if they keep him on the roster. Bengals at 11 go Ed Oliver. Too good to pass. You know, this might be a top-tier player, but because the court needs that quarterback, the needs that offensive line, and the other D-line talent, it'll push guys like this down. We see a lot of top-tier defensive line talent here, but remember, teams draft off need and they overdraft off need at times. So it happens, whether you agree with it or not, it happens. So a guy like this will drop down. Ed Oliver to the Bengals. They would love to pair him with Geno Atkins. They definitely could use a quarterback. I think they would like Haskins or Locke, but at this point, too good to pass on Oliver. Oliver with Atkins would be just unreal. Packers go Rashawn Gary in similar situation. Rashawn Gary might be an elite talent in this draft class, but he gets pushed back because teams draft off needs. D-line, plenty of good D-linemen, pushes him back. Packers have quite a few needs. D-line might not be the biggest one, but you can't. Bottom line is they need some pass rush. And Rashawn Gary can be a pass rusher on the D-line for multiple spots. I prefer the DN spot. So maybe what Muhammad Wilkerson was supposed to be, something like that. But Gary's going to get after the quarterback, and he can't pass on him here. Whether they need pass rush from the outside linebacker position maybe more, or they need a safety more, they need a receiver more. I don't care. Can't pass on Gary. Bottom line is he gets after the quarterback at a high level. Dolphins, I think, will like Daniel Jones, quarterback from Duke. People say he's the most pro-ready. I could see it. You know, he's a very smart quarterback. I guess that's why people say it. You know, he's got the size. He's accurate. He's smart, right? He's not going to make too many stupid mistakes like some of the other guys might. So I guess that's why people are saying pro-ready. You know, he does need to stay a little more consistent. You know, like I said, he doesn't really turn the ball over a lot, but some games it's just doesn't wow too much. But then some games he does. That bowl game, that last game was very impressive, was very accurate. Quick reads was my favorite part, and was very accurate deep, which was nice too. And he was able to move around a lot too. Very athletic for his size, which is impressive. Falcons go Christian Wilkins, another D lineman that's too good to pass. Probably another elite defensive lineman. We saw how good he was in the national championship, and we see how much he loves the game too. The Falcons could use this guy. They can use him if they lose Grady Jarrett. They can use him if they keep Grady Jarrett, because compare the duo together. They've been looking for that other pair for quite a while now, and they haven't really found one that can stick. So Wilkins makes sense. He's a very good football player. Too good to pass here. Redskins go N'Keal Harry, wide receiver, Arizona State. My favorite receiver in the draft. I have him going 15 overall here, but he's better. He would be better than 15th overall on my big board right now. I like him that much. Don't see receivers like this every day. He's got size. He's a freak athlete. All that combined, you just can't pass on it, you know. Redskins probably need a quarterback. They could use a quarterback. I don't think any of the rest of them fit. You know, Will Greer does not fit to me in that Redskins offense. Not at all. So they can't reach for another one. And they would have to go, I think, with a receiver here. They've been missing legit receivers for a while now, and I like Harry a lot. You know, he's a freak. 16, the Panthers go Brian Burns, defensive end, Florida State. I think he could play in a 3-4, but in this case, he would play the 4-3 D end, which the Panthers desperately need. So Brian Burns goes 16th overall. 17, the Browns go Dexter Lawrence, another D lineman, and another time I'm going to say maybe too good to pass because these D linemen are ridiculous. Kind of that last piece they need for that D line to make it just elite for the future. So I thought that made sense there. Could do a little better job stopping the run too, but they got better as the season went on. 18, Vikings go Devin White, linebacker, LSU. Yeah, no lineman. They need an offensive lineman. I think they would love to have Cody Ford, put him at right guard, but they may have to trade up for that. And, they could take a tackle that's available. But the Vikings just, period. It's period. Bottom line, they don't like taking linemen in the first round, period. That's what it is. There's a reason for it. They think they're very good at hitting on players outside the first round. So if a good enough guy is here, they will take him. But if not, Devin White, some believe will go top 10. So I don't know if Zimmer would be able to resist. I don't think he'd be able to pass on him. And also, Anthony Barr, I think he may go elsewhere. So look for a guy like Devin White, a guy that can play inside linebacker on a 3-4, outside on a 4-3, can blitz, and can drop back into coverage if you want him to. And that just sounds like an Anthony Barr replacement. If he's not really similar to Anthony Barr, but what they ask Anthony Barr to do, I think Devin White can do, is my point. 19, Titans go Jeffrey Simmons, D-tackle, Mississippi State. The Titans could use a receiver or a pass rusher a little more, but Jeffrey Simmons is too dominant. They definitely need a D lineman too, because their best D lineman is Casey. He got hurt, and he's not getting any younger. Obviously, he's getting up there in age, but still can play at a high level. But they also could use more D linemen to go along with them. This guy can play the nose, or he can play the end in that 3-4. Makes sense to me. DeAndre Baker to the Steelers. They need a corner. Baker's solid lockdown corner. Another corner to the Seahawks. Trayvon Mullen, corner from Clemson, had a good playoff. And I definitely think the Seahawks need another corner. 22, the Ravens go DK Metcalf, wide receiver, Ole Miss. Freakish guy, great hands. Seen him catch the ball one-handed. Can high point the ball, good strength. Doesn't have a big route tree though. That is the question. But I see him as like that guy when Lamar's rolling out, getting chased, kind of just throws it up, and really has no option to but just to throw it up. And I think Metcalf kind of works with that. Could be like a bailout receiver at times if they need it. Dalton Risner, offensive lineman, Kansas State, going to the Texans. Pretty obvious they need a lineman. I think he's worthy of the pick. Raiders could use a linebacker. Devin Bush is on the rise for me. Michigan linebacker. The guy's everywhere. Guy can get sacks. He can stay back. Reads plays at a high level, and that's my favorite part about him. So he goes 24th. Next up, 25. The Eagles go Montez Sweat, edge rusher for Mississippi State. They could use a corner more or a safety. I don't think there's one really worth this spot. You could argue if they went safety, Deontay Thompson possibly, but a couple free agents at the edge position. Derek Barnett's the future, but he got hurt this year. You need somebody else too. I really like Montez Sweat. He does have some developing to do, it seems, but he's a freak athlete. With this coaching staff, he'll work out pretty good here. And, the Eagles, like I said, got some free agents coming up. Could use another one anyways. You always can use more pass rush. The Colts go at Hakeem Butler, wide receiver, Iowa State. Now, it's kind of a surprising one, but this makes so much sense to me. Is something I recently realized, too, is that a lot of Luck's picks were kind of just downfield, and the receiver kind of really didn't, could have helped him a little more by making, it weren't good throws, but could have made more of a play on him. Or a better play on him, and the receiver unit has been impressive and playing good for their names besides T.Y. Hilton because he's an obvious one. But I think Butler's that jump ball guy downfield that they need. T.Y. Hilton can pretty much do it all, and then Butler on the opposite side. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think he fits. I think it's what they need. He's a jump ball artist, and that could help him a lot. Raiders need a receiver with their third pick. They go A.J. Brown, receiver, Ole Miss. This is a guy I picture Mayock liking in this area of the draft. He pretty much can do it all for them. Chargers go Draymond Jones, D-line, Ohio State. A guy that can play D-tackle or D-end in that Gus Bradley defense. That makes sense to me. If Melvin Ingram's off the ball, then I think Draymond Jones will be the end in front of him. And they also have Joey Bosa, who they liked from Ohio State too. But, yeah, moving on to the next pick. Patriots, Ja'Kai Polite, edge rusher, Florida. Flowers is a free agent. They also need more pass rush anyways, so I went with Polite. Very good rushing the passer. Needs work stopping the run. It's still important. Not as important, but still important to stop the run. So maybe he goes end of first round. Rams go Anthony Jennings if he declares. Edge rusher from Alabama. I like him at outside linebacker where the Rams desperately need. The guy's a pass deflection machine. He's got very long arms. I think he can play with a hand in the dirt too, which is very, very impressive. Chiefs take Deontay Thompson, safety from Alabama. His playoff, or even the Georgia game and the two playoff games were not impressive. He impressed me a lot during the year. Showed me his range throughout the field. Very impressive. But the last few games against the best talent, not bad, but not super impressive. So he falls. Chiefs would love to have him. And Marquise Brown to the Packers makes a lot of sense. A receiver that can do it all from Oklahoma. Disappeared in the playoff game, but he's got good hands. Again, he can do it all. I think Matt LaFleur would love him in that new Packers offense. I think Rodgers would like him as well. Another weapon, a Randall Cobb replacement possibly. So that's what I got. A lot of good guys I still didn't have going. A couple Notre Dame guys that I like, Jerry Tillery, Tavon Coney. Tillery definitely can sneak in here. There's just so many D linemen. Zach Allen from Boston College I didn't have going. The athleticism was what scares me with him. And people see him as a 4-3 end. I actually see him as a 3-4 end. Reminds me of J.J. Watt, poor man's J.J. Watt. So he can definitely sneak in here. But athleticism in today's NFL is very important. That may hurt him, but he's got good moves, good strength at the quarterback. Any more questions about players, feel free on Twitter, frogs_angels, or in the comments. But that's going to do it for this one. We got plenty more prediction videos on the channel for the playoffs. We got plenty of NFL draft coverage after the season. We're going to have rankings based off 28th season after the season ends. So lots of good stuff here at Frogs Angels. We're almost at our subscriber goal at 10K. Please help us get there if you haven't clicked that button. Clicking the like button, we much appreciate it as well. That's going to do it for this one, though. Thanks for everyone's support. Goodbye.